Hello, I'm Joe and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm making a reusable lunch bag from cotton canvas. This fabric is unbleached and you will wash and press to prepare. If you have waterproof canvas, you can go ahead and use that. The measurement for the fabric would have shown on the screen. You'll need a piece of 24-inch long bias tape and a 5-inch long piece of Velcro. Now, fold your piece of fabric in half to find the center and mark 1.5 inch down from the top edge, and this is where you will place your Velcro. So open the Velcro, separate the two halves, and you will stitch on one side one narrow edge, and then you will place the other one to the opposite edge. Now I have my fabric folded in half because it's supposed to be one piece of fabric to use. You can also join two pieces of fabric together to make one. So at this stage I'm going to pin the Velcro at 1.5 inch mark in the center and down from the top edge. We'll take the sewing machine and sew this in place. So the Velcro is now sewn on the opposite ends of the narrow edges of your fabric. Make sure this is the right side of your fabric that you've placed your Velcro. Okay, now we're going to create a front seam because we don't want raw edges and we're only using one piece of fabric. So what you will do is clip your fabric piece wrong sides together, and you will stitch along the two long edges using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So take this to your machine and sew along the edge. Okay, after sewing, you will now trim your seam allowance down to about 1/8 inch on both sides, because we're going to turn this over and we're going to sew again along the same two edges with your fabric now right sides together. And this is what we will create the front seam, so there's no raw edges on the inside of your lunch bag. So go ahead and do that. Now after you've created your front seam, you're going to now add the bias tape around the top edge. Make sure that you turn your bag right sides out and place the bias tape using pins or clip to add the bias tape around the raw edge at the top of your lunch bag, as shown in the video. Now, if you don't have a bias tape, you can make your own. Just cut a piece of fabric on the bias, that is the stretchy side, at 1 3/4 inches wide by 24 inches long. And you can fold it in 4 sections and make your bias tape, which you can now add to the top of your bag to cover the raw edge at the top. So after you finish pinning in place, you'll take this to your sewing machine and sew around. So the bias tape has been the top of the bag. I think it looks nice. Now you will box the bottom of the bag by finding the points at the bottom of the seam, and you will measure 2 inches in from the tip and draw a line. You will sew across that line at your sewing machine. Now here you have 2 choices. You can either trim away the excess fabric, or you can sew it down to add some structure to the bottom of your lunch bag. So I decided I was going to sew it down to the bottom of the bag instead of cutting it away. So I will go ahead and do that at my sewing machine. Now turn your bag right sides out, and this is your bag complete. You will press your bag and you will sew all around the edges to give it the effect of a paper bag. So that's what I'm showing you here. I use a 1/8 seam allowance to sew around all the edges. And here we have our complete lunch bag that can be reused as many times as you like. You can wash it, you can fold it and keep it in your bag. This is perfect. So I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial, and see you in the next one. Thank you for watching as always, and if you like, you may subscribe, and please give this a thumbs up. And if you have a comment or a question, you can place that in the section at the bottom of this video.